In this video, I'm going to continue with the creation of my collet plate for my jig. First, I just want to point out that these arrows tell you things were created in the context of the assembly. I'm going to Control Tab back to the assembly, and I want to check and have a look if there's any interferences here. So first, I'm going to update and save it. And then I'm going to select my front plane and tell it to make a cross section through there. I'll flip the direction it's looking. Let's say OK, and I'm going to look normal to that. And I want to focus on this area here. So if I select the plate I just created, I can see there's interference here. So I need to add a chamfer. I'll stop the cross section. I'll Control Tab back to the part. And right here, I need to add the chamfer. So I'll select it, select chamfer. And I want to make sure it's bigger than that fillet. So I'm going to make it 80 thou. I'll say OK. I'm going to rebuild and save my part. Control Tab back to the assembly. And again, I'm going to select that front plane and tell it to make a section view. And I'll say OK. And now I can see it's fine. And later I can check this entire assembly for clearance and interference better using the interference checker. But visually it looks reasonable. So I'm going to stop the section view, go back to the assembly. I'll Control Tab back to my part again. This part will not be heat treated. It'll just be mild steel or possibly even aluminum. So I could chamfer these corners, or I could just let the note to break all sharp edges have the chamfer there. Adding a chamfer here though will aid in assembly of the part, so I'll select it. And again I'll make a chamfer, but I don't need that 80 thou. I'll just make a 50 thou chamfer. I'll say OK. That'll allow the other part to slide in here easier. It looks good. I'm going to rebuild and save, and I'll close this part. So I'm happy with my work so far. Again, I'm going to rebuild and save this. And this plate as well was created in the context of the assembly. So I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to tell it to also save the part in external file so I can make a drawing from it. The original path is the default, and that works. I'll say OK. And then again, I want to look at this and I want to consider what's next. Well, there are a lot of options here. Obviously, I don't want a jig that just stands on this plate. I'll need another plate down here. I have to figure out how to index it yet. But I need a collar or a nut to tighten around the thread of my collet to actually snug it up and securely hold my part and to be able to loosen it off. So next, I'm going to create a collar to do that. So I'll just go back to the isometric view, and in the next video we'll look at how to create the nut or collar to tighten up the collet.